Hello, it is Wednesdays with Chasey Poo. This week's topic is frequently asked questions that we get as trans people. Now, I know that we're all going to talk about the actual questions that we get, which I think we've actually talked about some variation of this topic in the past, but instead I want to talk, like, instead of like saying, you know, this is what people have said, like obviously the most common one is like, if you had the surgery, what's your birth name and all that stuff. But instead of like going through any of those, what I wanted to do was talk about why people think that they have the right to ask us these questions. So these questions are inappropriate, and it's hard for us to sometimes understand why people ask them. In the past, I was so angry, and I was like, people have cis privilege. They think they own us. They see us as objects. They don't care about us. They just want to ask us questions that not really get to know us. They just want to know trans things, like we're Trans 101, we're Google for Trans Encyclopedia and stuff like that. I was very angry when I was talking about this. This was a long time ago. Then I realized that yes, there's cis privilege. It exists, but it's more of a curiosity thing. Listen. In my opinion, the way that I see things, trans was not on TV at all or on the news. The only times when it was on the news was if it was a joke. Like they would turn the murder of someone trans into like an object. It was really, 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 really horrible. And then in TV shows, if you look at like crime TV shows, it would always be like a dead trans prostitute and stuff like that. So there was always negative connotations with trans people, but yet people still didn't really know what transition was. I think it's especially that for trans guys, because trans guys were like not on any TV shows until recently. I'm talking about a long time, like a while ago, like maybe a while ago, like 5 years ago. Like sure, there was some, but it was really more focused on trans women, which is cool. But also bad, because then all the negative stereotypes really started to go on trans women, and especially trans women of color, and then it just turned in, it's just, honestly, it's good that we have representation now, but the representation that we had in the past that got us here is just like, it's embarrassing and it's horrible and it shouldn't even exist. But the point is that people associate trans with the things that they've seen on TV or the people that they know. Usually if some people know trans people, then they've probably already asked these questions or they were informed, which is great. But I just think that people are so uninformed and it's very curious to them. They're very curious, it's curious. Whatever, there's a curiosity thing in there. I'm not saying it's right that they ask us these questions, that people who are not trans ask us questions like this. But I am saying that I'm trying to put myself in their situation, in their shoes, and understand why they would ask us questions about our genitals. Because if I was to ask them questions, it would just be super inappropriate. So I sometimes think that people don't really see us as fully male, trans guys, because they think that we're like best of both worlds, or we're not really men because we haven't had the surgery. So knowing if we've had the surgery validates their idea of what we are, which is bullshit, because obviously not every single trans person is the same or transitions the same or has the same transition path. Like it doesn't work like that. So instead we're left to like our own devices to educate people, and it sucks, and we shouldn't have to educate people about all of this stuff. But I feel that slowly more representation is happening in the media. We have all of these great people that are out, like Janet Mock and Laverne Cox, and they're just Caitlyn Jenner, and everybody is just focusing on their story. Even if it's bad, they're focusing on it negatively. They still know what's happening, which I guess isn't really a good reason, but I feel like if people are talking about it, then they're just talking about it. It's not like they're pretending like they don't know somebody who's trans. Like they pretend like they do know. Whatever, I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. I think slowly the role that society has put on us to educate everybody is slowly decreasing by this representation that we have. The representation isn't perfect. I don't think it'll ever be perfect because we're all different, but I feel like slowly people are gonna start to understand that some of these questions are inappropriate, and curiosity is still gonna be there. Of course, oh my God, I'm curious about so many different things. I'm not gonna ask people because I automatically would be like, those questions, no, they're not cool. I'll just go on Google, I'll just go on YouTube, I'll find out for myself. So I feel that maybe one day people are gonna be like that. I'm just optimistic, trying to be optimistic about that. for the trans future, so that people can like know what trans people are, maybe start accepting us more, stop asking us these questions. Like, come on, man. Have you had this surgery? Really? Really? Like, come on. Anyways, that's all I have to say. I hope you got something out of this. Maybe, and just kind of like a rant video, I guess. If you are cis and maybe feel targeted by this video, not all cis. No, I'm just saying, I'm talking about the cis people, the non-trans people who ask these questions. Just because I use cis in a general term doesn't mean I mean the people who don't ask those questions and who are very careful and like know what's appropriate and not. I'm just saying that people who just like are just asked these questions, like, come on. And some people don't know, like, I'm not gonna like hate on anybody. Like, if you listen to this and watch this and in the past you've asked somebody a question, you're like, oh god, I should have never asked that question. Well, now you know. Like, it's fine, now you know. You shouldn't have asked that question, but you didn't know. See, you didn't know. People don't know that it's inappropriate because people don't see us as, I don't know, maybe they don't see us as full humans, or they don't see us on the same level as them, so maybe they think that they can ask us questions and they don't really realize that it's inappropriate because we're kind of lower. I don't know what it is. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Anyways, have a great week, and I will be at the trans conference, Philly Trans Health Conference, with Reed and Val and Spencer and Tamar. I think those are all the 4 or 5, I don't even know how many we are, from Transtastic that are going. We don't have a table or anything, we're just gonna go. So if you're there, say hi. All right, have a great week.